Hi, Matthew. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me here today.
It's always a pleasure to see you. And it's lovely to be at the Middle East School Leadership Conference. We meet, we talk about what we're passionate about, which is serving the education sector. I would love for you to share from your leadership perspective and as a leader and the work that you do, what drives your leadership?
I'm the director for Savvas Learning Company, and Savvas is certainly at the forefront of educational change, the dynamic world that we live in. Students are learning in so many different ways, but yet there's fundamentals to learning that we still adhere to and really drive. So I think to answer that question, looking at what we do as a company is we're not looking at what's going on today. We're looking at what's happening 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And
do you think that's possible in this day and age?
I do think it's possible in the sense of building flexible platforms and solutions and resources. We're not saying what we build today will be the same thing we're presenting in a few years. In fact, it won't be. But the foundations of what we're doing and the forefront of what we're doing will plant the seeds for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And really in that life of the student's journey, it is not repeat after me. This is not the way students learn anymore. It's not the way we should be teaching anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of you do, I do.
Yeah, so everything that we're doing, we're talking about experiential learning, we're talking about phenomenon-based science, we're talking about skills development, career and technical skills that really have been, especially in this region, desperately needed for so long, but there's not a system in place to introduce them into the high school, secondary school environment. So,
for school leaders who aren't sure what Savvas do, and for school leaders who they're probably the ones who need to hear most from you of exactly what solutions you offer and how they can make a decision on if Savvas is right for them.
Sure. So our core business, our foundations of our business are literacy, science, mathematics, social science, and it's all mapped to the Common Core, U.S. Common Core. Those resources are really designed for American curriculum schools, but they can work in IB schools. They can work in different national schools. We've done translation projects, but that's the core fundamental business. Beyond that, what we've created are a series of diagnostic assessments to help educators understand their students, understand the students' strengths and weaknesses, especially in literacy and math, understand what's needed to get them to the level or advance them further than they already are. The other thing that we've just launched recently, which again, I'm really proud of, is our career and technical education. These are 55 new courses, online courses for students who then can get certified through CertPort. So they have a professional certificate, even as a high school student, so that as they go into university and their careers, they have this backbone already. Also, what it does...
Is that in curriculum?
So it is not. It is agnostic. You can be a British curriculum, IB, American. It does not matter. Now, the courses were built in the States, so they have an American flavor to them. But they're clustered in 12 different sectors. So we're talking about STEM, healthcare practitioner, business, design, communications. So there's agribusiness. So there's different clusters. And really what it also does is allow students to understand what they like and what they want to pursue. So we have one...
So like career advice, success advisory, career development.
So there's one course in particular that's 12 modules, one of each career cluster that the student, you wouldn't take that as a graded course necessarily, but you would take it just to understand what you like.
Maybe as an elective.
And
as a skills building for personal development.
Exactly.
Do you think, have you incorporated the World Economic Forum skills into that?
So we did not create the courses ourselves. We acquired a company, but that was part of how the company saw the direction that they took. I wouldn't say they based them on those, but they definitely used those tenets to say these are the directions that students need to be going. And these are the careers that cybersecurity is a great example.
Yeah. I mean, those topics, domains that are very current.
Exactly.
There wouldn't have been the type of topics we study.
And that's why I said earlier, this is the foundation of what we can do for the next 15, 20 years. Because really, it doesn't matter what course now that we have this ability. The next topic is data analysis. Then we create a data analysis course. And it's responding to the real world in a way that a lot of core curricula doesn't.
I also think in 5 years' time, in 2030, they can say in 2025, I did a course on cybersecurity, and that was the basis by which I created this whole industry. So we don't know what the jobs of the future are.
Absolutely.
But every knowledge base and skills base is based on an existing knowledge base and skills base. We need to be inspired by that. So it's amazing that Savvas are enabling that opening that door to TBET, technical beverage.
Yeah.
So looking at that, what would you say if a school leader who was interested in Savvas, what would you say in a saturated market full of many providers and platforms, what would you say Savvas does differently?
A few things. I think that the one thing is our core competitors, and they do great work, but they don't have the CTE offering at the moment. Okay. And I really think it's just bringing everything together under one roof. You know,
so
that's
someone who's not sure what CTE is.
Sorry, career and technical education,
okay.
Same as TVET, CTE. Or Americans tend to use CTE, British in the region sometimes.
I'm so
TVET.
British.
No, that's okay. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And again, you know, what I think Savvas does, and our CEO is, we're talking about leadership. She is just such a brilliant leader. She really does model the way for the company and for the way that we look at the world and look at how students engage.
How would you define that outlook?
Again, just progressive, agile. She's classically French educated, but there's this egalitarian spirit about her.
Sounds quite visionary.
Yeah, exactly. There's this egalitarian spirit to what the power of education can be. And I think that pervades everything that we do. Yeah. And I think it sets the example that when we're looking at different markets and how we address those markets and career segments, we want that lifelong learning pathway. That's why it's called Pathmaker. That's what we've branded these courses, along with another set of courses that are for dual enrollment. So now we're offering students alternative to the advanced placements, where they can take college-based courses in high school and get their credits for their...
So from what age specifically?
Those specific courses would really be designed for juniors and seniors for the last 2 years.
16, 17.
Exactly. Yeah. But the career...
Are there age limits to that? So I'm thinking more of if you've got a highly able student, a very gifted student, perhaps, because I know from my experience with schools, sometimes having a structured program for students who are very highly able in junior high, is that the right term?
Junior high is a very American term. Very good.
Junior high, and therefore sophomore and there onwards, they don't have, whereas a pathway, if it's curriculum agnostic, those pathways exist. It creates opportunities for very bright students to access. What would you say?
So my answer to that would be the career and technical education courses. Absolutely. In the States, we say from grade 6 onwards. So that's junior high. So we're talking about even as early as 11, 12 years old for those. For the outlier dual enrollment, I really would, the way the courses are designed as university lectures that you're watching. So it really does have to be a 16, 17, 18-year-old, maybe the occasional 15-year-old if you've got a stand.
But still useful because there's a lot of sort of heads of sixth form, other people who are wanting to create access. So senior leaders, we're looking to create access to giving young people a flavor for what they could be excited about as a career. Even if that course isn't delivered to the young years, they can be shown it as something to be excited about what's coming when they get to that.
And if you can take the outlier courses, and what we do is we take the results of your work, we submit them to the University of Pittsburgh in the States. They give you the accreditation, and those credits are easily transferable within the US. So if you're going to university in the US, fantastic. Outside the US, we haven't tackled that yet.
Perhaps that will,
but that'll come. That'll come. So if you have students as a high school leader that want to study in the States, this is amazing, because what it does is a Calculus 1 course, a macroeconomics, a microeconomics. These are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at university. Our courses are much, much cheaper, and you get your credits so that when you get to university, you don't have to take what you already know.
Yeah. And having an alternative to AP creates a sense of choice, freedom of choice, and also it's the variety. It creates an appetite for children to be interested in specific things. So I think that's really exciting.
And just the other differentiator with the AP that you mentioned, that the choice is absolutely one of the key things. But the other thing is there's no external exam. When you're doing an AP, you're taking your normal coursework, you're studying for an external exam, and you sit in an exam, and you really have no sense of what's going to be asked, and if you've studied the right things, and if you've prepared correctly. Whereas the outlier courses, you're preparing the whole way through. So you're actually learning the material that you will then be assessed on.
Portfolio creation.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think in terms of in a world where exams are coming out of fashion or not necessarily fit for purpose anymore, and in the work we do as professionals, putting together a body of evidence or creating a portfolio of what we do is the norm. I don't think I know of any work where you don't have to bring together.
You synthesize what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's in terms of skills building, and where we talked about the WES,
That's
even
right.
that in itself, having to go through that process before you get to university is a very good practice for the young people, so that they do get those self-directed and independent learning skills that oftentimes regulators here are looking for.
And even to that point, to the educators, we have a free course on how to succeed at university.
Amazing.
So we offer that to not even our customer, anyone who wants to use it can log on. We can provide the links to the course, and it does give you, I think it's about a 3-hour, 4-hour course on how to succeed.
Okay, so
at
head
university.
form out.
Yeah, exactly.
Those preparing
So
children.
please come and find me for that one, and I'm happy to. And not only children, parents
Amazing.
as well, because it's about time management. It's about the changes that you're going to face being an independent learner versus a very structured learner. And I know by sixth form in high school, there is a somewhat of a push towards independence, but not that jump between
I actually think
school
that the preparation that is done, it doesn't, sometimes you need a specific course on it to really understand that it's different. Because oftentimes we tell you something, people mention something. When it's a structured course, you can set your mind to that mode. So I think by creating it and making it free, that's really noble and excellent.
And again, that comes straight from our CEO. She really believes in this idea of lifelong learning and continued success. And look, from a regional standpoint, I cut to the chase. We are all here because we need to create students who will remain in this region and get into the private sector, whether they are locals, Saudis, Kuwaitis, Emiratis, whatever, Qataris, or even whether they're expats. The country is now at a point of maturation where the expat communities are now in their second and third generations, right? Yeah. And so we don't want the brain drain. Everybody wants to stay here, and why not? But they have to have those skills.
Future, a flourishing future where the nationals of the GCC, as well as the first and second generation people who've moved and called the UAE home, they do want to stay and they do want to have a sustainable life for their children, and they want that to be something that they can realize. And that only comes from having the skills and opportunities to learn that Savvas and other platforms offer.
That's even great because our platform is called Realize. So you just plugged us without even knowing that Savvas Realize. But no, you're right. I know, that's right. That's right. There's but no, you're exactly right, Zoubiya. That is exactly the way I look at this region. And we're not going to sit here and say we've created these products and programs and solutions for the Middle East. We haven't per se. But we have a global mindset. Exactly. We have a global mindset. And an understanding that within the world, mobility is vastly important. Skills development. Not everybody's going to become a PhD physicist, right? So skills development, again, in these areas, like I'm talking about cybersecurity, drone technology, agribusiness. These are key areas. Nursing, teaching. There's teaching courses in there. But you have a 15-year-old who's like, I think I want to be a teacher. And they take a few of the courses and they either say, no, not for me. Or they say, this is it. This is my passion. I found it. And they found it because they engaged with it. I think the age-old question, what do you want to be when you grow up, is so antiquated. That no one is one thing anymore. No one gets to be. We get to be as many things. You're a jack of all trades. I think we all have the ability, whether it's a side hustle or a hobby or whatever, but we all have the ability to have a multifaceted career that goes in a lot of different directions. And the key to that ability is the foundation, right? Those are the foundational skills.
And actually opportunity, because me, antisocial geek, growing up, the thought of speaking virtually or otherwise in this manner, I don't think I would have done it without the opportunity or someone saying, try.
Of course.
And try this course. Maybe it's something you'll enjoy. And being completely really far from that as a natural preference by someone opening up a course or an opportunity, only then you know if you can do it.
And I think with our career and technical courses, education courses, it does give students that safety to try things, maybe out of their element.
Sure.
And
it's good when they say, no, this is not for me, because then they know what they do want.
I can take a nursing course and I guarantee you I know beforehand, but even halfway through, it's not for me. But other things that I may have interest in, but don't know how to express that interest, it opens those doors.
Amazing. Thank you so much,
You're
Matthew.
welcome.
It's always a pleasure, genuinely.
Thank you.
We see each other, we greet each other warmly, have amazing chats, but it's my first time talking to you on camera. Thank you so much for sharing. And if school leaders want to have the access to the free course, want to get a sense of Realize and the Outlier course, they know.
Yeah, you can find me. I'm based in Dubai. I'm here. We are present all over the GCC and Middle East, all over the globe. But really, you can find me. My contact details are online, LinkedIn, Matthew Santaspirt. There's 2 of us. Make sure you get the one in Dubai and not the one in America. Although he usually is my cousin, so he forwards it to me. But yeah, or look at the savvas.com website for more information as well. And come find us at the Middle East School Leadership Conference.
This year and every year.
Yeah, we're here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Jerry.